I'm Linus Nutland, also known as Nike Server. We're here today at my studio on Brick Lane in East London. I share this space with Inside Tag and Pass Down Store. I've been doing Nike Server for 5 years. Started it when I first moved to London in 2019. Basically buying, selling, restoring rare, obscure and weird Nike footwear. 1998 to maybe like 2006 is probably where my main focus lies. And I think that's because there was so many things getting introduced in that time. You know, you had like the Terror line started in 1996. All the pre-SB stuff, 1996 through to like 2003. Nike was kind of first going into lifestyle shoes in that era. They were kind of just dabbling with collaborations in that era. So I think it was quite a pivotal time, and you had like the Alpha Project as well. It was kind of transitioning from a predominantly like sportswear brand into lifestyle and fashion and that sort of thing. And I think, yeah, and lots of innovation, technology, the internet, like, you know, it was an interesting time, and I think that's what draws me to that specific era. This is the Nike Air City Camp. I actually saw these on eBay in blue years ago and then just lost the listing and was just so surprised that Nike would even do anything like this. This was actually one of the first kind of endeavors into like a lifestyle shoe. These are from 2000. Yeah, just super weird. They've got this kind of like hidden stash pocket on the side, which is just, yeah, I've never seen that on another Nike shoe before. Yeah, found these. I paid £25 for them. A kind of obscure staple with Nike Server from the get-go was this, the Nike Silverfish. Can't remember how I stumbled across it, but yeah, kind of went on a bit of a mission to get every colorway. This is actually a sample pair, so the pairs that released didn't have this kind of dark embossing here. This was designed by the same woman who designed the TN7 and the LTD and a few other pairs as well. It was designed for running the 200-meter sprint. Very weird shoe, super lightweight. So I'm from Bristol originally. I think growing up there, I was surrounded by other older people who were into footwear at the time. Mainly Nikes. I had some friends who collected Vans, and there was a shop in Bristol called Seven, and yeah, that's basically where this whole thing started for me. I started going to like charity shops and doing all that stuff back in the day. This was maybe like 2013, 2014. Kind of started a small collection and was just going on eBay, typing in Nike, and just wasn't looking for anything in particular. It was just like looking for random stuff and seeing what I could find for cheap, and then slowly built a collection, and then moved to London and was like, well, I'm finding all of these pairs for dirt cheap, but I'm just looking in my size. Why don't I start looking in other sizes and start buying and selling them? And that's it. I think I started Nike Server in March 2020. Like I said, when I was first buying stuff, I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I was literally just buying what I found. The Huarache was like a big one for me. There was a sneaker fair in Bristol called Sneaker Box, and there was loads of guys there selling old like JD exclusive Huaraches for like really cheap. But obviously I didn't have much money back then, so I was buying those, I was buying old TNs and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think that probably kick-started it for me. Like the Huarache Escape, the original ones, that's a shoe that resonates with me. And the Presto Lava as well. I think at the time in the late 90s and kind of into the early 2000s, skateboarding was all about, you know, grassroots brands and kind of smaller independent companies making their own shoes, and you know, it was a lot about, yeah, independence was kind of a big thing. And I think the idea of Nike, this huge American kind of massive brand coming in and monetizing off that kind of subculture of skating was really frowned upon. So yeah, at the time they didn't do very well. But, you know, fast forward to the present day, and these shoes are really, really sought after. I haven't got them all, but got a good few of them. So this one is the Nike Snack, one of my favorites for sure. Super, super clean. I had a sample pair that I sold stupidly back in the day that I regret forever. This is the Trog. This was, again, one of the first ones alongside the Snack. The Chode is another one. Back in the day, this is what people like the most, this one. And yeah, again, these sell for a lot of money now. They came in, I think, 4 colorways. My favorite one is this, the Leon Mid. Also came in a low. I think maybe like 3 colorways in each. Yeah, the paneling on these is sick. tiny little mini swoosh. This is the Avidian, which is super weird. It's a shoe that you can actually turn inside out. So you can take this kind of inner lining out, and then this, I'm not gonna do it because I don't wanna break it, but this outer shell you can flip inside out to have a different colorway. This is the Nike ACG 50/50. About 99, 2000, they transferred some skating shoes into the ACG kind of division, and yeah, I was experimenting with that. I think they did the 50/50 and one called the hardtack, both super rare, super sought after. Don't have much of a like sentimental attachment to many shoes, just because like it was never like a thing for me when I was like really young and growing up. Like it was more of something that I got onto as I was older. But yeah, I mean, there's always, you know, there's those pairs that were there at the beginning for me, like the Huarache Escape and the Presto Lava. Like those two are probably, yeah, ones I like, not relate to the most, but I have like a sentimental attachment to, just because those were two pairs that I loved when I was younger, and that kind of kick-started things for me. It kind of grew into an information thing, and I think that stemmed from the research that I was doing because I didn't know what I was buying a lot of the time. And still to this day, you know, like I buy shoes and the person selling them doesn't know what they are. I've never seen them before. And so it's like, right, I need to find out what these are. And I think that's what became quite addictive for me. It was like the hunt to find out what the model was called and what they were made for and who designed them and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it certainly like didn't start off as a real information-based platform, but it's certainly grown into that as being like the main thing. In the early days, I think it was in the second year, where I was buying lots of kind of broken pairs and crumbling pairs and pairs that were falling apart, getting returns and all this sort of stuff. So I was like, right, I'm gonna try and fix these myself. That didn't work out. Didn't have the time, didn't have the space, didn't have the proper equipment. Heard about Vibram and the service that they offer. Went over to the shop by Old Street. I literally took a bag of like 20 shoes and was like, what can we do? Like, and that kind of snowballed, ended up working with them. Pairs I've done myself, the workshops we've done, and pairs that people have sent me, probably touching like 500 pairs now, resold. I don't actually know what ACGs they are, but yeah, got these in and the soles were falling apart. So this is kind of a good example of the reselling work I do with Vibram. It's got a spider lock sole on, that's what this one's called. Nice and grippy. I think it matches the upper quite nicely, adds a bit of bulk. This is probably the most obscure shoe I've ever bought that actually was released and isn't just like an unreleased sample. I got these in just last week. It's called the Huarache Zoom Racer, I think. Super, super cool, you know, kind of Kukini-like webbing on the sides. Yeah, nobody had ever seen these before. I'd never seen them. All the biggest enthusiasts who follow Nike server had never seen them. I think it was a guy in Korea who has some access to a database of every Nike shoe ever. I had to like message him and be like, tell me what these are. Thankfully he found out. Being different is good, you know. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I started this. I was seeing lots of other pages, predominantly on Instagram, all just selling the same stuff. And I was like, there's so much more to Nike than just Air Maxes and Dunks and Jordan 1s and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, stick out, find interesting products, and find product that you're genuinely like passionate about. At some point, definitely try and, I don't know, go down more of an agency route and yeah, try and do some content for Nike maybe at some point. But yeah, there's certainly shoes that are coming out that we could kind of touch upon and do these videos for. And I love doing the foot skate one, it's really fun, and we did one for the Vibram project quite early on. But yeah, I think it's a good way of, especially if Nike's bringing something back out, I feel like it's a good way of spreading awareness of, you know, this is an old shoe, this is a history, all this sort of stuff. Nike's really hitting the nail on the head with some of these retro releases. A lot of the merchandisers that I've met are real enthusiasts. You know, they've come here to see stock, they've come here to see product, the archive. I think they're delving into more obscure pairs, but I think they're also doing that based off the fact that, you know, Sundermax, for example, to a lot of people that's an obscure shoe, but 20 years ago, a lot of people were wearing them. My second favourite Nike shoe ever, followed by the Air Zoom Drive from 2002. The Sundermax, this is from 2001, this colorway. It came out with a matching footscape. Took me ages to find a wearable pair. I think this colorway is the only kind of wearable pairs you'll get, because these are from 2001, all the other pairs are kind of 99, 2000, and I've only ever seen people with wearable pairs. It's always this colorway. So yeah, hopefully they release this colorway again when the Thunder comes out this summer. These have been super popular on the page recently. ACG Talis, massive puffy kind of tongues. Yeah, these were super popular in like Florida, that area in America. These are super popular. I have loads of people commenting like, oh, I had these in this colorway, I had these in this colorway, always from America. Nike did the Scan recently, retro the Scan, which is like a low top version of these, but yeah, these are sick. Came out in loads of colorways, so Nike should bring these back. It'd be popular for sure. Designers are always going to hark back to archive stuff. They're always going to be looking for references in older models. The retros are always going to keep coming and all that sort of stuff. But I think in terms of innovation and things, you know, I think the people who are doing that best at the moment is like Nike ISPA. Like I've seen some of the stuff that they're doing, quite mind-blowing, their approach to sustainable footwear design and the things they're experimenting with. So yeah, those guys are like leading the way in terms of like footwear design innovation. 100%. Another popular line, which I don't think I touched upon earlier, is the Airs Nike Considered. So these are from the first release in 2006. This is the Considered Mule. But this is basically Nike's kind of first experiments with sustainable footwear design. So if you see on the bottom of the sole here, there was no glue used. All of this kind of like, they're like clip components. So they all like clip into each other and then they're all stitched on. So yeah, super like innovative stuff. This is maybe like one of the most sought after models from that line, from the first release anyway. So this is a Considered Moab, kind of a take on the Huarache Moab. Kind of weird design. I think it's an acquired taste. They tend to do pretty well on my page anyway, and they seem to be pretty popular, and they all come with these kind of like big tote bag things that are quite sick. I've got a project coming out with a guy called Samuel Falzone. He's based out in America. He's like a traditional kind of cobbler. So I think I sent him 4 pairs, and yeah, he's kind of worked his magic on them. Kind of like, how could I elevate the Vibram resoling to a whole nother level? And yeah, he's like an extremely talented individual, and what he showed me so far is, yeah, it's insane. These are super popular. The Nike Air Visi Havoc, super cool silhouette from I think 2002, 2001. Got this kind of weird like gel insoles, super strange. These came in loads and loads of colorways, like an iridescent purple one. Had a load of these in stock, always super popular. Yeah, Nike need to bring this back, or something like this back anyway. Bit of a weird one, got in not too long ago. This is just like some of the stuff I really like. I think this is from like the Vapor series, which was kind of from 2004 to 2009 when they just introduced the caged air unit. They are called the Zoom Speed Cage Plus 2. Kind of like a Gyaksu colorway sort of thing, fly wire. Yeah, super sick. I don't class myself as a sneakerhead. I just feel like I'm a bit of a like product nerd. You know, shoes aren't, this isn't the only product I'm into, you know. I'm into furniture, cars, industrial design, lots of stuff. I just like design, and shoes is something that I happened to monetize on, and it kind of spiraled and snowballed into what it is today. I feel like not many people are doing the obscure side of things, right? I would say there's no one with a shoe collection like this, stuff sitting on the wall behind me. People focus on Jordans and all this other stuff. I don't feel like many people get the obscure stuff, right? I have something about finding obscure things, and I kind of feel like I inherited it off my dad. Like he's like a record collector, but his collection, he doesn't focus on one genre. He gets everything, really weird, obscure things. And I think I got that off him.